In the 2nd century, Roman authorities didn't just persecute Gnostics because of religious differences. They feared something far more dangerous, a belief system that threatened the very foundation of imperial power. What made Gnostic movements so terrifying to emperors that they had to be destroyed? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of history's most fascinating mysteries: why the most powerful empires in human history saw Gnostic movements as existential threats. I'm talking about Rome, Persia, and later Christian kingdoms, all united in their determination to crush these spiritual rebels. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why knowledge itself became dangerous and how this ancient conflict still echoes in our world today. If you're ready to uncover the hidden history they didn't teach you in school, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to challenge everything you thought you knew about religion and power. So first, let's understand what Gnostics actually believed, because this is crucial. The word Gnostic comes from the Greek word gnosis, meaning knowledge, but this wasn't ordinary knowledge. Gnostics believed that salvation came through direct, personal spiritual experience, not through priests, not through emperors, and definitely not through institutions. Here's where it gets revolutionary. Gnostics taught that the material world was created by a flawed deity they called the demiurge. The true God, they claimed, existed beyond this corrupt creation. And here's the kicker: every human being carried a divine spark within them that could reconnect with this higher reality. Think about what this means. If every person has direct access to divine truth, why would you need a church hierarchy? Why would you need an emperor who claims divine right to rule? You wouldn't. This is why empires trembled. Let's get into the real reason empires wanted Gnostics gone, and it wasn't just theology. Ancient empires relied on a simple power structure. The gods authorized the rulers commanded the priests controlled the people. This chain of authority was unbreakable, except Gnostics shattered it completely. When you tell people they don't need intermediaries to reach God, you're not just challenging religion, you're dismantling the entire social order. Roman emperors understood this immediately. They saw what we might call spiritual democracy and recognized it as political anarchy. If a peasant farmer could claim the same divine connection as Caesar himself, what legitimacy did Caesar have? The Gnostic text called the Gospel of Thomas includes this radical statement: "The kingdom of God is inside you and all around you, not in mansions of wood and stone." Imagine being a Roman senator hearing this. Your entire civilization is built on temples, hierarchies, and imperial cult worship, and these mystics are saying it's all unnecessary. But here's what makes this even more fascinating. Gnostics didn't just preach spiritual equality, they practiced it. Their communities included women as teachers and prophets. They held secret gatherings where slaves and aristocrats studied together as equals. They created alternative societies within the empire, living by completely different rules. The Roman historian Celsus wrote with barely concealed horror about Gnostic groups where wool workers, cobblers, and washerwomen claimed to understand divine mysteries better than educated priests. This wasn't just offensive to Roman sensibilities, it was dangerous. These movements proved that ordinary people could organize themselves, create meaning, and find purpose outside imperial control. And empires cannot tolerate that. This is why the persecution was so brutal and so complete. It wasn't enough to kill Gnostic teachers. Empires had to destroy their texts, erase their communities, and rewrite history to pretend they never existed. When Christianity became Rome's official religion in the 4th century, the new Christian empire inherited this same fear. Gnostic Christians were hunted down just as viciously as they had been under pagan Rome, because the threat wasn't about which god you worshipped. It was about who controlled access to the divine. For over 1,600 years, we only knew about Gnostics from their enemies' descriptions. Then, in 1945, an Egyptian farmer discovered a buried jar near Nag Hammadi containing 52 Gnostic texts that had been hidden since the 4th century. These weren't the dangerous heresies we'd been told about. They were sophisticated philosophical and spiritual texts, some of which challenged early Christianity to be more egalitarian, more mystical, more focused on inner transformation. The empires won the battle. Gnostic movements were destroyed, their texts burned, their communities scattered. But they lost the war of ideas. Because the core Gnostic insight that authority must be questioned, that direct experience matters more than dogma, that every individual has inherent dignity and access to truth, these ideas eventually resurfaced in the Reformation, the Enlightenment, and modern democracy itself. So why did empires fear Gnostic movements? Because Gnostics offered something more threatening than rebellion. They offered an alternative, a world where power came from within, not from above, where truth was discovered, not dictated. And once people glimpse that possibility, you can never fully take it back. The next time someone tells you that questioning authority is dangerous, remember, they said the same thing about the Gnostics, and history remembers which side was right. If this opened your eyes to a hidden chapter of history, smash that subscribe button. We're uncovering more forgotten stories every week. Drop a comment and tell me, what other suppressed spiritual movements should we explore next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.